Hello everybody! I want to share with you a balancing patch that I've been cooking up for the past month. I am a 2300 elo, no, sorry, I'm stupid, 1300 elo player. I don't even know how I messed that up. 1300 elo player with about 2,000 hours of the game, and I've been collecting info from Deepwoken info server and, people in the actual game. And this balancing patch serves to be 100% honest. It does not serve to be serving a certain meta or anything like that, like the freaking higher-ups in the testing server or the balancing server or whatever they have up there. This comes from actual Deepwoken players and myself. I have been doing reconnaissance on this for the past month. Let's get straight into it. Parry now ends active mantras. This way, this just cancels all move stacking. I parry and I get hit by a different mantra. It's not freaking fair. Can no longer use zip lines in player danger. You will get down to 15% and use a zip line and then pressure blast me away while I'm on the zip line. I can't parry on the zip line and you just get away. This is not freaking fair. This needs to be gutted. It's runner's #1 thing at Hive. Campfires now heal 50% less in player danger. Let's be real. This could be given a combat tag requirement like 3-player combat tag, because in 1v1s it's alright. But it is not fun having a 1v3 and they swap off campfire for 30 seconds, full heal, and then come back into the fight. No one wants to deal with that. I think it should be nerfed. High boosters boost amount scales to health percent in player danger. This should also be nerfed. You can't just go 900 miles in the sky and then flame leap onto a ledge I can't reach because you're losing the fight. Wall climbing scales with health percent in player danger. You're telling me jet strikers can just scale a whole mountain when they're on 5%? Hell no. Placing campfires on a destructible/despawnable structure and then having the campfire mid-air will now snuff the campfire. So I don't know how they do it. Metal Rampart, Glacial Ice, whatever. Mid-gank, I've seen several people just have campfires mid-air, and they're sitting on the campfire healing. And as an attunementless player, I can't do squat. I don't have flame swords or anything to bring them back down. I can keep them in player combat using art or scream, but there's nothing else I can do. They're just gonna full heal and call on 3 other people while keeping me in player combat as well. I can't do anything. So please gut this. Stark Kindred air dashes and ascension distance now scale with health percent in player danger. This is just to nerf people who use ascension and Stark Kindred to run away. Slope sliding speed scales with health percent in player danger. This is just a Vigil's nerf. Like, how is that freaking fair that you get to slide down this massive slope in Vigils and get 50 feet away from me? Ranged mantras, range now scales with health percent in player danger. This is to nerf the lightning strike abusers, the people that have the max amount of perfect lens on it and crystal lens and go 9 miles away and just use it on you. Even if it does no damage, it's still annoying to deal with. I'm glad that they nerfed it and made it deal less damage the further away you are. It's great change, but it's still annoying to deal with. Ranged mantras now oh, never mind, we already just did that. Lightning strike now ends on parry. I will show you a clip of why this should happen.
How about that
Oh
side?
yeah, did you have a baby?
What about this one?
Wait, me? I'm not pregnant.
No one said you were. You said you were.
My fault. I upload myself. Piece of true.
Huh. Hold on, I'm trying to get myself out.
It is stupid as crap when I'm getting hit by lightning strike, iron requiem, vision shape or whatever, and I'm freaking playing Trial of 1 when I'm just trying to do a chime match. This crap is stupid. Venting now cancels hyper armored moves such as onslaught and e-kick. When you get hit by Rising Flame and you vent, and it doesn't matter because they've already rolled up the Eclipse kick and you take 2 bars? No more! An onslaught it's really annoying in ganks when I'm trying to vent out of 50 people and oh well, 3 of the 50 people used onslaught, I'm getting hit by it. Venting cooldown decreased by 2 seconds for every player tag, capped at a minimum of 2 seconds at 4 player tags. I think the venting change is great. 10 seconds is great for ones. However, in ganks, when you're getting attacked by 8 people, it's not fun to have a 10-second vent cooldown. It's not cool. It's not fun. It should be reduced. I should be able to use my vent if I'm getting hit by 50 players. Revenge, Shadow Assault, Lightning Assault, Flame Assault, Metal Ball, Wind Passage, Jolt Grab, Modified No Spark, Flame Grab, Modified, now end where parried, no longer go through opponent if parried. People abuse it to run a distance camp. For instance, you're in a 1v1. You got him on 5%, he revenges with max modifiers on. He's now super far behind you. That's not too big of a deal though, right? Well, now he has a huge distance gap and he's just going to run away. He's not going to keep engaging in the fight. Also, it makes revenge and wind passage unpunishable. I parry it and you're just going to throw Ardor Slicer at me. I should be able to punish it, so it should end where parried. Stop going through me, I'm right here. Fire in line and fire in line, Blast Spark, now slow heavily when parried. This is the #1 distance camper mantra. Bolt Piercer now ends on parry, however the area is increased to buff it. Honestly, this isn't fully needed as Bolt Piercer isn't super busted anymore, especially after the damage nerfs, but it's still a distance camper mantra, so it should still receive a nerf. Metal Turrets, HP reduced, CD increased. It's Clash of Clans type mantra. It's so stupid to fight in ganks, especially if you're fighting more than 4 turrets at a time. It's impossible to deal with. You're just getting hit from every angle in a 1v3. It's impossible. This has happened several times and I'm done with it. Permafrost made 50% more translucent. Shadowcast users just abuse this to hide their moves. It's honestly not even that good of a mantra, they just use it to hide their moves and nothing else. Shadow Vortex deals less damage if you're under a slowing effect when captured. This is just needed for ganks. In Void Heart, when they use freaking Shadow Vortex and it's covering half of the floor, and then they Rising Shadow you or Gale Force Reversal Spark you into it, you're slow, there's nothing you can do. You're getting hit by that Shadow Vortex into Shadow Gun, and you're taking those 2 bars, and there's nothing you can say about it. Parrying Fire Eruption now ends the mantra. You'll see this in Chime and in ganks.
There we go.
You'll parry Fire Eruption, and then they go for the M1 and they get hit. It's just not fair. Like, even in ganks, Fire Eruption, its size needs to be reduced. Fire Eruption, scale with modifiers decreased by 20%. This crap is planetary. All Jet Striker movement now scales with health. The lower the HP, the shorter the distance. I feel like this should just be given. Air dashing and sprinting now scale down decently when below 20%. I swear to you, I have seen so many people on 6% and they run faster than I do. What the crap is with that? Probably to do with Endurance Runner, in which case it should scale down decently with Endurance Runner when below 20%. Relentless Flames wind up decreased. Whatever it is now to 0.5. Relentless Flames is useless outside of PvE currently, and I would like to change that. Shoulder Bash cooldown increased by 5 seconds. Currently, it is just too powerful. It is the perfect mantra. Perfect feint, perfect damage. It heals decently on Bloodless. Varied parry timings if you wiggle your camera a little bit. It's just too good. Shoulder Bash wind up increased by 0.1 seconds. Rock Mauler crit synced to animation. Immolation now prevents self flames from dealing armor damage. Why? If I have Immolation, why are my flames still damaging my armor? Course of Agony's crit synced to animation when used with Flow State. You'll see this in Chime and in Overworld. People just using Flow State to freaking desync the crit on Chorus of Agony's crit, and it's so annoying to deal with. Chorus of Agony's critical wind up increased slightly, and when I mean slightly, I mean slightly. It's honestly not that hard to parry, but in high ping, such as like 100 plus, it becomes impossible. So I feel like that should be fixed a little bit. Quartzstone Pickaxe swing speed reduced 0.94 to 0.89. It still remains the fastest swinging heavy weapon. It's just too fast right now. This thing swings like a freaking dagger, and it's a great axe. And great axe have some great axe talents. So honestly, it should be nerfed. Quartz on pickaxe, posture damage slightly increased to compensate. This way it's not fully gutted. It'll still be good even after the swing speed nerf, but you know, I can hear you complainers. Power Keeper Blazing M1 changed to be the same as Rosenthal Flame rather than a 5-second cooldown. I don't like that they have pre-nerf Blazing with a 5-second cooldown. I don't like it. I feel like you should have to learn you should have to earn your flame that slows me down and deals insane damage. Spit given reinforcement behavior now requires a talent to heal. This way you at least have to give something up for it. Devs have been trying to nerf Spit since day one. The community isn't having it. So I feel like a middle ground should be achieved, because Spit is pretty powerful. You can spit like 40 times in a chime match and heal 80% and restore like 130% posture. So it definitely needs some kind of treatment, and if it's going to be given any treatment, it should be given the reinforcement treatment. That way the players aren't too mad and the devs get at least something, some kind of win. Reinforced armor reduced at 65 fortitude to 15%, 90 fortitude to 30%, and increased at 100 fortitude to 45%. This way reinforced armor is better with higher investment and worse with lower investment, so it's even worse shrined. Because, I mean, it's still pretty powerful when shrined down, and you will not see a gank build not running reinforced armor. Lightning Stream given a speed cap of 1x, slightly faster than a Spear M1. Wind up unaffected. This is just to nerf Lightning Stream itself, not the actual wind up. It still casts the same. I mean the stream itself when it's chasing people. It's just instant, especially at close distances. Sure, it's good for catching people that are trying to run away, but it's also really annoying to parry. And actually kind of impossible. But that's kind of given because, you know, some people are guaranteed to say just parry it, which is fine. It is parryable, I agree with that, but I still think it's too fast. Whiffing a mantra now gives 0.03 end lag. This is just to nerf mantras that weren't given end lag, such as Sky Shatter Kick, Ground Spark. For some reason it doesn't have any end lag. They can whiff the mantra. You go for a dagger M1, their heavy weapon, they still get the M1. I have no idea how that priority works. Casting multiple mantras within 5 seconds and not landing any will heavily decrease tempo gain. This is to nerf mantra spammers that are bad at the game. When I mean didn't land any, I mean didn't even get parried, didn't get dodged, didn't hit block. They just fully missed. That means you're bad at the game, you're trying to distance camp with mantras, and you should not have tempo. Tempo gain from criticals increased by 15%. Being hit twice and freeze now ends freeze. In ganks it's very annoying to be frozen and hit by 50 things. I get frozen by ice daggers and then freaking sightless guy behind me, sightless guy in front of me, and 2 Hive Lord Hubers at my side. I'm dead. I'm dead because I got hit by ice daggers. Using Shade Step halts ether, health, blood, and armor regen. People will Shade Step and then heal at a campfire. It's more common than you think. It's very annoying to deal with, and I don't think you should be able to be Link Strider healed while I can't hit you. Using a Spark Swap on someone below 50% heavily slows both swapped players. Swapping out mid-fight is not fun for anyone to deal with. Wretched Mob Blade's damage decreased 27.5 to 26. Wretched Mob Blade's critical posture damage decreased. If you run Wretched Mob Blades with Piercing Blow, just know that no one loves you. Just know it. You know you're doing 2 bars. Especially if you're running Rising Flame with it too. Just know it. Just know that no one loves you. Your father's going to leave you if he hasn't already. I'm tired of taking 2 bars from you. And then even in Agamatsu's stream, when he took 3 bars, he was just looking at the screen. He locked in. He still beat you. That's how bad you are. How are you going to do 3 bars and still lose? And how is Agamatsu not going to take that straight to the devs and get it nerfed? What are we doing? Hailbreaker particles reduced. Its particles are so heavily. If someone uses it mid-gank, I'm blind. My retinas are gone. I can't see crap. MTP pen cap percent scales with investment. Ether overdrive pen cap percent scales with investment. Updraft launches you less high to prevent fall damage. Using updraft in the air no longer launches you up at all. Fall damage builds need a nerf. I took 2 bars of fall damage to a Flame Leap Crystal Knee updraft build. That crap was not fun. What am I supposed to do if I don't have a fall damage canceling mantra? I just eat it. Landing a guard break will reduce the posture damage of your next mantra by 15% for 2 seconds. No more back-to-back-to-back guard break spam. This is really just to help the freshies that can't parry guard breaks. Honestly, I still think double guard breaks should still be a thing, but triple guard breaks is just a bit much. I feel like triple guard breaks, by the third guard break you use, it should do something like 95% posture rather than 3 guard breaks, because that's really annoying to deal with. Fleeting Sparks give an emotional wave treatment, can't cast other mantras while using it. You see people use Fleeting Sparks and then they revenge, or they use Shoulder Bash, or something else, something annoying, whatever it is. It's move stacking and it's annoying to deal with. I feel like move stacking shouldn't be a thing in Deepwoken, and Fleeting Sparks currently is the move stack mantra. Ether Regen, while having Metal Turrets, Flame Sentinel, Ice Spikes variant, and Ice Fissure casted, reduced by 30%. You are a mage, you know you're a mage, you should not have Ether. Piercing Blow true damage scales with strength now. This isn't entirely needed, but it's just to nerf those people that have that one guard break mantra no one knows about that deals like 500 damage. Especially on dagger builds. I'm tired of the dagger, flame blade, into ice eruption, whatever, cheese builds, bro. I hate it. They're all over my elo range. I need to get out of the 1250 elo. I need to get out 1250 elo. I'm so tired of these freaking light dagger, whatever, flame build, guard break, ice eruption, tears of Eden kite. Your health is gone. Oogity googity doo. Alright, Spine Cutter CD increased depending on what weapon is equipped. Light 8 seconds, medium 6 seconds, heavy 5 seconds. Light weapon just spams Spine Cutter. They will go behind your block and use Spine Cutter like it's a freaking M1. Fired 80% of 8 testers that did bare minimum work, and it was apparent that they just wanted to roll for CG. How you guys have 200 testers and 100 of them are on cursed gear? I fully appreciate and respect all the testers that actually test the game, but I guarantee you some of these testers are not doing their job. Parrying a mantra from your opponent prevents sprinting for a short duration. People cast a mantra, run, and repeat. It's not fun to deal with. No longer lose tempo while in judgment. I'm stuck for 3 seconds. What did I do to lose my tempo? It's not exactly fair that I can't move, I can't vent, and now my ether's gone because you landed one mantra. Blood Fowler crit given a loud sound cue similar to Deep Spindle. You're gonna give a critical, a fake hit built into it, and not let me know? What are you doing? Punishment now cancels the mantra predicted to prevent things like Flame Scourge, Tornado, and Lightning Strike going through it. Ardor Slicer given a sound effect. Honestly, it's not too hard to parry in ones, but when you're in a gank and you can't hear that crap coming, it's like Sonic the Hedgehog. It just goes right through you. Freaking A-Train mantra. Link Strider Link's cooldown increased by 15 seconds. Link Strider instantly became way too powerful once Vortex Echo dropped. Being command lived removes ability to heal on you for a full minute. So you're telling me that you get a full health bar, you get a second health bar, and you still get to heal. Okay, first, how bad do you have to be killed, and then have a Link Strider on you, because who else is running command live? Brick. Alright, hitting Link Striders disables their ability to heal or damage for 3 seconds. So, say I get mad at this Link Strider for healing my opponent 10 bars, and I go after him. Why is he still healing the guy behind me? Using Vortex Echo halves healing abilities effectiveness. This way, whenever you use Vortex Echo and you say you use Link Strider, you heal your opponent, you use Vortex Echo, you heal them again, and then, you know, now your resurrection is off cooldown because you used Vortex Echo, and then you just, you know, you resurrect the guy, and then you command live the guy, and then you heal the guy. Why do I have to do, I don't know, what, 12 bars of damage to this Hive Lord Hubris, Heavy Hands, Nemesis, Silent Heart, for him to die? I hate Link Striders and they should be gutted. And honestly, I don't think anyone but Link Striders are going to disagree. Have you ever tried to run ones with a Link Strider on them? They are going to win because they get to heal so much. Temp health now eats away at Wither. Ring of Pestilence, 50% anti-heal to 30%. Reason being, I know this is going to be a hated change, but reason being, no one goes all the dead gods since this ring was discovered. Why would you ever go all the dead gods with this ring? I mean, it's just not worth it. All the dead gods should be a usable talent, and Ring of Pestilence should not be on every single build. Kicking out a campfire prevents the player that placed that campfire that got kicked out from placing another campfire for 15 seconds. So I'm in a 1v3. This is a real situation, by the way. I'm in a 1v3. I kick out this guy's campfire. He wall glitches through a wall, places another campfire. I have to fight these other 3 guys on me while he's healing, and I have to try to glitch through this wall. And then I get taunted, so now I can't glitch through the wall. He's just healing through a wall with a campfire. If I had maybe 15 seconds, I could have gotten through that wall before he could start healing. Alright, attacking in water now highlights the attack in red to prevent animation hiding. Can no longer stack Shattered Katana crit with Poser Ring. Iron Seeker Instinct now uses a small amount of armor durability. Explosion on corpse explosion fixed. Currently does not explode. What the heck are we doing? Deep Wound anti-heal 20 seconds to 10 seconds. Let me get this straight. You get to deal 2 bars of damage with your Evan Spear assassination build and apply anti-heal that lasts over double the duration of all the dead gods for 35 points. People already go Ghost for 40 points. This thing costs less than Ghost, lasts double the time of all the dead gods, and is true anti-heal. What the frick am I supposed to do against that? Lights out 30% to 20%. Super easy to hit pin cap as a assassination build. We don't need to keep buffing them. Eureka now has a visual indicator. How am I supposed to know when I'm perfect casting? Graceful Steps no longer works on feints. Runners will just use this to get a little bit extra distance out of their running. It's really annoying. Metal Absorption merged into Mantra. Taunt jump prevention duration decreased. So this is another real situation. All of this is coming from real situations, pretty much, or things I've seen, or things I've heard, or feedback from community. A Jet Striker climbs up a wall. I go to chase him using, because at least the devs put it where I can use the same bouncy pads he has. And he taunts me at the top. And now I fall all the way back down, and he's just going to be able to run on the top of Hive for 20 seconds and combat log. Or heal at a campfire, or call on 9 other guys to jump me. I mean, taunt is good. It's good for both ways. Because not only I could have used taunt and stopped the Jet Striker from running, but the Jet Striker also stopped it. So I feel like both parties should be nerfed. Final act given 10-second cooldown, currently has no cooldown. 5 big booms talent.
Big justice, big HA, my brother was just shot 5 times, he's dead.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! 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 Boom!
Brazen Blow no longer procs through block, don't know why it did in the first place. Bearing the entirety of Shattered Katana crit now gives priority, didn't previously for some reason. Oathless resistance is now 20% oath damage resistance rather than 20% oath armor. This way it's no longer affected by armor and damage multipliers. And it also, will work against oaths like Blade Harper. Base tempo increased, tempo gain from erudition decreased. No longer need forward erudition on every build. You will not see anyone rolling under 4 erudition in Chime or on gank builds. Reduced flame repulsion scaling with size modifiers. This crap is planetary. Backtagging someone and then being hit by someone else will heavily slow the player that attacked you. Backtagging being when you running attack a running player and TP to them. To prevent swapping off in 4v1s, this could also be a talent. If I'm chasing someone and someone's chasing me, that I'm chasing someone, I get hit, I'm slowed because he has going nowhere or whatever. And now the other guy just gets to run. It's not fun. It's not fun to deal with at all. Ardor Slicer movement forward reduced. This is both buff and nerf. Nerfs follow-ups but fixes running into opponents' attacks. Reduced hypovolemic focus posture negation. I swear they gave all these blood talents super complex names so it'd be more tedious to balance. Fainting a mantra that brings you in the air will drain ether while you're in the air. This is purely a bird-built nerf. Being under power 14 negates all HP to nobility debuffs, so power 14s can still run away from power 20s that are ganking them. This could be up to power 16, I don't really care. You know, with all these movement changes that I'm proposing, I don't think it would be fair for a power 20 just to be able to, you know, absolutely dominate power 14s and 16s just because of these changes. Updraft the effects indicator for windup. Cyclical exosanguination.
Cyclical exsanguination.
20 damage to 35. Rush hour no longer affects statuses that should not be affected by a damage buff, such as bleed and burn. Embolism. Half of your temp HP is damage instead of full. This crap can do 2 bars if you're fighting someone with ramen or have vamp and you're running blood. I don't see enough people talking about it. All of your temp HP turned into damage. Ramen has given me a full bar of temp HP sometimes. I mean, I guess it's just the true downside of ramen enchant is blood, honestly. Honestly, everything's downside is blood. Who the frick can fight it? Hemorrhaging blow now has an indicating glow on the enemy. How is the enemy supposed to know their bloodless gems are damaging them? Hemolysis.
20%
to 15%. Bloodfowler, blood poison, reduced on crit 1 to 20% and crit 2 to 15%. The blood poison is just too high. My full bar is poisoned after 3 criticals. What are we doing? Reduced shadow gun size with modifiers. Guard breaks should not be planetary. Assassinating nearby players, dust lunge, damage decreased. So you're saying I not only take a bar and a half, 2 bars, but you know, the one ally I have in this 1v6 also takes half a bar of damage. How does that make sense? He did nothing to deserve that. All shadow moves given a slight highlighted color to prevent full black clothing cheese. Rain Spire now puts out campfires if it didn't already, and its cooldown is lowered. This would be good for boss raids where they just swap out and campfire. Railblade critical windup increased by 0.15. The reason I say this is because I run Railblade and it's landing too much in 1250 elo. People have decent parry ability in my elo, and they're just getting hit by it all the time. And I've seen it get to popular suggestions several times. The crit is just too fast at close range. Uppercut now scales to swing speed, still being different than regular swing speed, so it's still a mix-up, but to nerf slow heavy weapon uppercuts and a buff light weapon uppercut. This way, we can finally get rid of Silent Heart, Heavy Hands Ring, High Lord Hubris. I am done with it. I'm done with their uppercuts, carrying them so heavily. Heavy Hands Ring effectiveness reduced by half, swing speed reduced by half. Your swing speed won't be as slow anymore. Posture damage reduced by half. But uncommon pip turned into a rare pip, so you can have like 6 HP on it. So it's still decent, so it's not completely gutted. Explosive Rage 50% damage buff to 25%. Why? You land a mantra on me and now your puppets do 50% more damage? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. They already did decent damage, and now they're just doing more. And if you run any song chant, it's just even better actually. Parrying a black flame puppet puts enemy in parry stun. Don't know why it didn't before. It only really does it if you're close to them, but if you're far away and parry it, it doesn't give them any parry stun, which doesn't make sense. Black Flame Puppet's posture damage from being parried increased. Frozen Pin Cushion Freeze changed to be the same as Ice Eruption, broken once hit and freeze. And Rising Flame physics changed to be the same as Sky Shatter Kick. Back to the Frozen Pin thing, you can still F to spam out of it. It's not the exact same as Ice Eruption, alright? Alright, the reason the Rising Flame physics should be changed is because you land Rising Flame, I'm just stuck there. I'm your little mutt boy for the next 3 seconds. I can't move, even if I dodge out of it, even if I parry your next attack, I'm still stuck in the sky. At least with Sky Shatter Kick, when I get hit by Sky Shatter Kick, I can move out. I can dodge out of it. I feel like Rising Flame physics are just outdated, and it makes the mantra very powerful. Alright, we're moving on to bells now. Payback Beam posture damage increased. The beam variant is the worst variant for PvP, does no posture, impossible to land. If your opponent isn't lobotomized, this thing isn't landing. Payback delayed version given increased multiplier damage. Delayed version is the one that does damage, like you absorb damage and then you release it, and it's not beam, and it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, and it's not very good because who's hitting you during payback anyway? The only time anyone uses payback is the instant variant. Crazy Slots heavy weapon end lag reduced 0.25 to 0.15. I don't know, I think it was with the end lag changes, but Crazy Slots heavy weapon end lag almost became 0.3, which is so bad. It's so bad. I can't cast a mantra, I can't feint, I can't do anything. I can't do anything after M1ing with my Crazy Slots heavy weapon. The end lag is so high. And it's a bell, like, it's a very powerful weapon. So, you know, in normal circumstances it would make sense to have that much end lag. But it's a bell. It shouldn't be that gutted. Alright, Corrupted Resurrection now resurrects knocked nearby allies. But if an ally is resurrected, the resurrection health is halved. Current Corrupt is boring, and it just has better range. I feel like this would make Corrupt Resurrection actually unique in a sense. Currently, it's just not fun. I know the Resurrection is already a good mantra. That's why I feel like its health should be halved. But, you know, just give it a unique function. Shard Bow now locks onto targets, but with very slow turns. So it's just good for runners. This could be a variant too. I'm tired of runners, man. Skeleton Key can now be used to flourish stack. Verse 1 Summon Cauldron Tech. Those who know. Those who don't know, I'll explain it real quick. Back in verse 1, I was a participator in this meta. You could use Summon Cauldron. You could summon it after you flourish someone to hit them against it and proc the guard break against a wall tech and continue your combo. It was very fun. It was very cool, and then the devs removed it. I mean, it makes sense why it was removed because it was powerful. But Skeleton Key is completely unused. Ever. It's the worst spell in the game. You summon a big wall that people can just walk around. Honestly, I feel like this would fix it. Flourish stacking would be cool, but only cool if you had to use your bell and it had like a... Because think about this too. Summon Cauldron Tech. Summon Cauldron didn't have that long of a cooldown. Skeleton Key has a longer cooldown. So, I don't feel like it would be too overpowered. Alright, we're on to the buff section. Enough complaining. Now we're going to be buffing things. Brace now gives special hype armor. Mantras that are not ritual cast can be cast during the hyper armor from Brace. Corrupt Run It Back shares this same special hyper armor. Brace is useless right now. It was only used for Sightless, and they removed its function. And then they gave Sightless some hyper armor, but it's not enough because people will still hit through it. It's not good. Honestly. Brace is just useless. So it should have this kind of special hype armor. I still don't think that, you know, the Resurrecting Flame mantra should be true just because you have Brace. But, you know, it also should have a use, should have a function. Rapid punches posture damage slightly increased. Lightning clones fixed. Precise swing now works if the critical guard breaks. Crescendo crit speed increased heavily. I could book a dentist appointment before this crit actually goes through. Not a Scratch now hides HP and posture from soul breakers. Wind Forge Spark variant windup decreased. Ice Beam posture damage increased. All-Seeing Eye now shows you the health of invisible enemies. Blind Shooter is still terrible. The only thing it has going for it is Sightless Beam and maybe Tranquil Circle if you're like you don't want to deal with all the mantras in a gank. Ice Blade Endlagger lowered. Lightning Blade treatment. Shadebringer posture damage increased. People just full block this crap. Dark Blade range increased. Flashfire Sweep range increased. Lightning Assault. What the heck? Lightning Assault wind up decreased. Chain Reaction and Pitcher and Chemist Bag merged. Too many potion talents. Potion Quaver and Placebo Effect merged. Off Your Game and Cornered Fool merged. Denial Repulse merged with the mantra. Preceding Chill merged into the mantra. Carnivore and Grand Feast merged. Safety Dance and Observation merged. Meteor Impact and Phoenix Impact merged. Resolve Crusher lasts for a longer period of time. Risky Moves no longer procs while holding block, completely wasting the talent. Risky Move sucks just because of this. Underdog 3% to 5%. Defiance now works with all effects. Pressure Detonation AoE increased. Tap Dancer reworked. Dodging 2 attacks in rapid succession heavily reduces roll cooldown with a 25-second cooldown. Eureka now highlights character orange on perfect casts. Brain Rattler applies to all guard breaks, not just criticals. Brain Rattler is not that good. It only applies to guard breaks, and in higher elo, you're not landing them. Not a Scratch requirement decreased. 100 willpower, 20 fortitude to 80 willpower, 15 fortitude. Unyielding Frost can now be used with Crystal Path. Now this sounds way too overpowered, but let me explain. Using Unyielding Frost with Crystal Path gives plus 20% chip damage, and does not proc crystals through block. This way you just have some more chip damage. Because I feel like Crystal should have a 100 ice talent or something, because Crystal doesn't have one currently. Precious Gear reworked. Flourishing an enemy gives aerial attacks increased chip. Previous is just giving increased blood loss, which is useless. Gave Folds of Enmity Berserker talent. Not Berserk, the one where your hair goes red. Berserker, the one where if you knock someone you get 20% damage resistance. The reason I don't think this is too overpowered is because we gave freaking World Serpent Overflowing Dam, no one batted an eye. You have to beat Enmity, the hardest boss in the game for it anyway. Cult of Personality 3% to 5%, however it's still capped at 15%. Cult of Personality gives you pin depending on how many enemies are charmed. Conductor Cable 10% to 20%. No one uses Conductor. Conductor now overloads. Landing Conductor, for example, landing Conductor against Crystal users equals a Crystal Explosion. Surge equals Surge Overload rather than a single stack. Because previously you would have to land like 8 Conductor rods for them to overload and take just a little bit of damage. Using it against an Iron Singer player will impale so that it can be used against Iron Singer players. Using it against Shadowcast will make their ether cost further 2.5 times rather than 2 times for the next mantra. Suffocate will last 10 seconds rather than 5 seconds. Wisp slot now given on spawn rather than needing a talent. I don't know why we need a talent for a Wisp slot. I don't think that this is really needed. Anyone with Will-O-Wisp given a talent hand. Static Link is now applied on guard break. Static Allure intel requirement removed. Static Link applies stun, damage increased, and can now proc talents. Let me explain why. Currently does not apply stun or proc talents, does 0.5%, and it has 110 point investment. Magical Resolve 1 second to 1.5 seconds. Voltaic Conductor 20% chip to 50% chip plus 50% guard break penetration. 75 Iron Sing 40 Thunder for 20% chip is atrocious. That's a high investment for 20% chip on lightning mantras too. No one blocks lightning mantras unless it's Lightning Blade. Controlled Combustion will still apply if no holds barred is on. Alright, quality of life. This is a relic quality of life. This part is highly speculative, and I don't expect any of these changes to actually come. This is highly opinionated, and feel free to skip if you just want to go back to the unbiased changes. Again, I don't expect this to be added at all. Removed Rain and Void Spires from Primadon's loot pool, replaced by Enchant Grease. Idols of Yun Shul added to Ferryman at a reduced rate than before, however you have to fight him in some kind of special battle where he's always on second phase at start, and possibly gets a third phase. Should take about 5 minutes on Ferryman specific builds and much longer on regular builds. Even with the 5-minute timer, or the 5-minute whatever, on Ferryman specific builds, like the builds that would go through him in 1 minute, it's still not really a great chance of getting idols. The reason I say this is just because I don't like Diluvian. It's not fun. It's not fun at all, and I don't have 5 friends to do Enmity, so I don't know how I'm supposed to get idols. Either I bore myself to death doing Diluvian for an hour, or, you know, we could just, because at least Ferryman is fun. Alright, I'm leaving the bias part now. We're leaving it completely. On to actual quality of life and content. Deep Gems weight 1 to 0.5. Wind Waker is now an Echo talent, 150 Echo cost. For those who don't know, because I didn't even know this, Wind Waker makes your boat faster if you're going in the wind, I think. And it's a Gale talent, but the requirement is so weird. You have to sail in the wind with like over 50 Gale for like 10 minutes or something. It's really weird. It's a really weird talent, and I feel like it should just become an Echo talent. Anyway, small ting sound whenever parry is off cooldown. I might have lazy eyes or something, but I don't like to look at my parry cooldown to make sure it's off cooldown, like mid-fight, especially when I'm getting comboed and I'm wasting all my parries. Anyway, Tranquil Circle, Multiplying Spark. Place down multiple smaller circles, 3 at a time max, breakable totem in each circle's center to destroy it. Blind Seer is so gutted, it needs something. It needs something. Please! Please! Please, Agamotto, please! Ceremed Hollow mesh is fixed. Ceremed Hollow maps fixed. There are all these random gaps in Ceremed Hollow that have been there since release, and no one's bothered to fix it. It's really annoying. Parry sounds are different if you parried a mantra, and what kind of weapon you parry. Because, okay, even in verse 1 I thought they were going to add this, because it's a parry game. And even in Elden Ring, depending on what you parry, the parry sound will change. But it was never added. I think it would just be cool. Like, it doesn't add anything to the game except for cool factor, which is maybe why they added it, because it's a useless change. But it would be so cool, please. New setting to remove effects entirely from the purest of visual clarity in fights. I get lobotomized in all Dawnwalker fights, I can't lie. I can't see crap, my eyes go blind. I'm looking at the sun whenever I fight Dawnwalker Gale, bro. My eyes actually need to like take a rest after fighting that crap. Please Ski Inferno is now bankable, don't know why it wasn't earlier. Ability to see parry, dodge, block, combat cooldowns on the left of the screen next to talent cooldowns rather than needing to look at the small icons. My eyes aren't trained that heavily. I don't play Deepwoken that much to have my eyes trained to go straight to the cooldown I'm looking for. Duke Ventaricia given 10-second vent cooldown. Listen, if anyone of any status, of anyone is watching, no, anyone watching this, go fight Duke right now and tell me this isn't needed. I will roll a clip for you right now of Duke Ventaricia.
content dries up every 2 years. Blizzard adds new locations, items, playable races.
Alright, moving on to armor enchant reworks. Stench. Getting hit releases a stench that depletes a heavy amount of armor rather than doing damage. I feel like just taking damage for being hit is so powerful. It's too powerful. But I also don't want to gut it, so I feel like a heavy amount of armor damage would be fair. Entanglement. 3 hits, 15% resistance rather than 5 hits, 10% resistance. Adhesive. Getting hit has a chance to glue nearby enemies to each other for 2 seconds, which would be good for ganks. Because adhesive, why do I want you closer to me? Wild. AoE increased PvE damage. I think that this should be the hell noted gen, honestly. Heroism rework. Saving a player from being gripped increases damage 15% for 15 seconds. Saving 2 players 15% to 20%. Max damage buff from saving multiple players 25%. So the max damage buff you can have is 25%. It is affected by damage cap. Max time being 30 seconds of damage boost. Plus 15 seconds for each player save. Killing an enemy grants a 5% damage buff for 10 seconds. Both cap out together, meaning gripping and saving share the same time and damage cap. Essentially becoming the boss rate enchant. Like if I kill like 5 people, I should be doing a lot more damage. Elastic rework. Now applies a pink bungee glow effect to hit enemies. This effect lasts for 4 seconds. Hitting another enemy within 4 seconds will bring the enemies together rather than bringing them towards you. Alright, this is the stuff I thought about while I was editing. You might hear it in my voice that I'm not sick anymore. But while I was editing took so long, I made up another list of things I experienced in ganks and chime. Alright. Amount of wither lost when knocking a player reduced. Wither's whole even slight purpose is denying health packs, and it can't do that currently. Using Glacial Arc prevents the use of Ice Lance or Gale Lunge within 2 studs of the beam and player combat tag. Does not apply to dungeons or out of player tag. This is just to nerf people who use it to fling cheese out of ganks. Gears Cleave crit no longer goes through block. Detonation can no longer proc through block. Rising Shadow tracking changed to be the same as Lightning Stream. Not the same speed, it would just fix the buggy timing. Course of Agony's crit cooldown increased. The only reason is because this crap is so spammable and it does a bar. It doesn't matter how easy it is to parry if you can cast it well over 10 times per minute, and it does a bar per missed parry. Gave Enmity a walking animation. Enmity chest increased. We've buffed Enmity enough. She has anti-heal. She does extremely high damage. She can unlock Bell. I don't know. I think that for all the trouble that's been added to her, she deserves some better loot. Kanobo standing critical given hyper armor. This is another dental appointment crit. It's extremely easy to hit through, it's extremely easy to parry and dodge. However, I understand that there would be some cheese with Hive Lord with this, so transferred crits, I forgot the official name, it's when you delete a crit and get formless shards or whatever. No longer keep hyper armor, so if you put this on Hive Lord, it won't keep the hyper armor of the transferred Kanobo critical. Crimson Rain second hit can no longer be used if its first hit was parried. Crimson Rain projectile speed lowered at base can be increased similar to Fireforge. It's currently instant. Razor Blitz now ends on parry. Razor Blitz height decreased. Razor Blitz no longer brings up if whiffed. Bloodrind users just spam Razor Blitz because 1, it's a getaway mantra. 2, it's a height-based mantra, so you can't punish it even if you parry it, because they're too far away for you to M1 or cast mantra. And it's just extremely annoying. They'll also hide animations in its VFX. It's the most annoying Bloodrind mantra in my opinion. Crimson Surge height decreased. Bloodrind is unpunishable when multiple of their moves bring them 9 miles up. Even if I parry it, I do not get the next hit because they're so high I can't take any advantage of the parry stun. This is the anti-parry trait attunement, and you can't convince me otherwise. Crimson Surge no longer brings you up if parried, meaning caster doesn't go up if he gets parried. Blood Edge posture damage reduced. Blood Orb speed increased slightly. Soul Flare Siphon delay removed. There's a slight delay between when they're right next to your character and you actually taking damage, making parry timing a bit funky. Scarlet Cannon height increased. This is the one Blood Red mantra I think that should have good height, and it's the only one that doesn't. Clutching Shadow made dodgeable, currently undodgeable for some reason. LFT Legion critical windup slightly increased. Turning of the wheel dodge requirements 1 to 2. Fixed Heavenly Wind move stacking. Updraft no longer sends up on parry or block. Fractine damage 22 to 23.5. Fractine swing speed 0.81 to 0.87. Fractine heavy scaling 7 to 8. Fractine intel scaling 4 to 5. Currently Fractine is just a worse Grand Sadaruska, but for intelligence. So I feel like we could at least level out its stats to be somewhat similar to Grand Sadaruska. Long Tongue of the Law damage 17 to 21.5. It shares the stats of First Light and Alloyed Crescent, but minus 1000 damage. Increased damage of Fractine Crit Blade pullback. Encore now dazes enemies if they were casting a mantra when stunned. Audio indicator for trying to jump when you can't, such as taunt, bear trap, stifle jump, etc. War Master Medallion no longer works on Vortex Echo. Vortex Echo completely negates War Master Medallion's downside because it takes time off of your bell cooldown. So it's just a direct buff to support mages. Petra Anchor range reduced by 0.5. This crap outranges me and I'm on Spirit. It might just be a broken hitbox, I don't know, but it genuinely does. It's really annoying to deal with. Rising Flame windup increased by 0.05. Fainting Revenge now puts Mantra on a short cooldown similar to Twin Cleave. However, instead of Twin Cleave's long out cooldown, this one will only last 3 seconds. Fainting Shoulder Bash now puts Mantra on a short cooldown similar to Twin Cleave. However, this will only last 4 seconds. Fainting Exhaustion Strike now puts Mantra on a short cooldown similar to Twin Cleave. However, this will only last 3 seconds. Meteor Impact no longer works if a mantra was casted in between the timings. Sanguine Dive now properly hides player model. Vein Breaker posture damage increased. Soul Flare Siphon range increased. Blood Edge windup decreased. Blood Sticks now slow running players. Blood Wisp blood healing reduced when equipped with NLK, as currently it fully negates the NLK downside. And that's all I could really think about in the in-between timing. While I was editing the video, and now I have to edit this, so this video is going to take even longer, and I might have another section with more nerfs and buffs. Anyway, that's pretty much all the changes I have currently. Let me know what you think could be added. I took about a month to make this, asking people in Deepwoken ganks, asking people in Void Eye, asking people in Deepwoken info server, asking people in the Iron Wardens, in design, in other guilds that are competitive, Deep League guilds, whatever. I've been asking around a lot. And a lot of this comes from my own experience too. But yeah, I hope that you agree with them. If you don't, please let me know why and what you don't agree with so that I can change it. But yeah, this is the balance patch I spent about a month of my life putting together, and I'm really happy with the updates Deepwoken has been making. I really like the change from I'm really enjoying the change from just adding a bunch of content to actually balancing the game out, because I feel like the majority of Deepwoken players, they don't want Deepwoken to take its vitamins. They just want it to do the hard labor and build the houses, you know? They don't want it to be healthy. They just want the substance. And honestly, I don't think it's good for the game. I feel like it could use some serious balancing changes. And these are all of the ones that I could think of. Let me know what else you think of. If I missed any cheese, I tried to address some of them more requested to balance things, such as Shadow Flame in ganks, Flame in general being a dev spec in ganks specifically, Link Strider healing being so busted, support builds being so busted, Command Live being so busted. I also have, I have a few more that I forgot to mention, actually. I forgot to add these to the list. Oh yeah, they did the pressure blast change. Cool. I just saw that on the list. Added soft cap of 520 HP, 50% physical, 50% elemental armor. Anything above the soft cap will have its efficiency halved, e.g. plus 5 HP above 520 actually equals 2.5 HP, plus 4 physical above 50% physical will be 2% physical. Same with elemental. This will reduce the absolute tank meta of 600 HP, 50% physical builds. Oh yeah, they changed updraft damage, that's good. Faint sound increased, just a quality of life since it's super quiet at the moment, in my opinion. Command live now only works on knocked players, so you have to time it rather than waiting till your teammate is on 5% and giving them an extra health bar. Command explode no longer denies the health pack. Certain commands now scale with the master's charisma. Command leech leeches less with less charisma. Command returns distance scales with charisma. Explodes damage scales with charisma. Command fight damage buff scales with charisma. Command run scales with servant's HP. Locate unaffected. Eat unaffected. Yep, that's it. Those are all the things I missed. Forgot to add to the list, so whatever. Let me know what you think. You know, I'm happy to change the list and make another video on it. I'm happy to add more, or because I'm again being fully honest, being completely unbiased. I've got a more negative viewpoint of the game. I didn't really see a whole lot of stuff that needed to be buffed, and I guarantee you there's a lot of stuff that needs to be buffed that I did not mention because I was too focused on balancing down rather than balancing up. So please let me know what you think needs to be balanced up, because the buff section definitely needs a buff, if you know what I mean. Alright, well, have a good one.